All right. Thank you everyone for joining in over here as well. Let's get started with our today's session. It would not take a lot of time, but yeah, depends on the kind of use cases that we're trying to see. Let me have a quick recap of previous session where we covered about how to use and or in a Google. So pretty much before that, prior to prior session, we did cover how to use and or not in a LinkedIn or Naukri or Monster or any such job portals. But wherein comes to a Google, we see there are slight variations in the operator, wherein for Google space itself is basically a and. We don't really have to mention A and D and. What happens when we mention A and D and? It generally takes that particular A and D and spelling as a keyword and start searching for that as well. But otherwise, space itself is a and for Google. And comes to or, even or also we've seen in a last session, there are a couple of use cases when we go to some of the later pages, or was getting highlighted and Google was trying to show the results, definitely with the number of keywords, whatever we have given in the combination, but or when we use or in Google, it not necessarily work like operator, rather or is been understood by Google as a additional keyword, and it was giving us those results also. As well, when we exchanged or with pipe, that is something standing line. Here in the notes, we pretty much covered it. Then we started getting some of the right results, and then Google started understanding like Java or microservices properly. And then we did see some of the use cases is that space is required between before and after pipe. And we did run a search without space, and it was giving us pretty much decent result. So that also defined that when we are using or in Google, even space is not necessary. It's an optional, we can use it, but let's say Google has a limitation, space limitation to give a number of keywords. So later on, we'll understand how to smartly use these particular spaces and why to reduce those spaces. Till then, we'll just keep it just the pipe so that we are sticking to the basics. But later on, once we arrive at the point where we really need to remove that space, then that time we'll cover the various use cases, why that space is an extra space consuming little more space, and how to reduce that thing. When we create Google custom search engines, that way you'll realize, okay, the space is definitely a waste of space. But otherwise, that was pretty much about or. And then we did try it about how to use not basically in LinkedIn, or we tried in LinkedIn. Otherwise, the same formula applies to Naukri or Monster or any job portals. We did see that this particular example like ELK or CI/CD and SQL or NoSQL, not DevOps and Java. So definitely it was excluding DevOps and Java, though there were a couple of minor results because of a commas after Java or because of comma after DevOps. But generally what it was giving as a result is by excluding DevOps and Java, and it started showing us the results with ELK or CI/CD and SQL or NoSQL. Though the example is really strange because these are the kind of keywords, if someone has that in the resume, majority of them, either they would be a DevOps guys, or by default, at least Java would be there a keyword as a programming language. But still, we have taken really hard example, and we did came across a kind of a profiles where it ignored, and up to 99% accuracy is what I can say. And that is something we did explore as well. Now today we'll know why that particular use cases, why this using not the number of use cases we covered in previous session to use on a LinkedIn. Now we'll know the importance of that particular thing, how to use it in a Google. However, like if you see there's second example, not DevOps or Java, this was also giving a correct results, that too in a free version of a LinkedIn. Then again, this example, ELK or CI/CD and SQL or NoSQL, not DevOps, not Java. Again, we can do that, but to keep a space optimal, I would still recommend this because here we are using two. But otherwise, we did see in this ELK or CI/CD and SQL or NoSQL, not DevOps within the bracket, then not DevOps Java, that did not work. ELK or CI/CD and SQL or NoSQL, again not DevOps within the bracket, and again and not Java, that also did not work. Because here algo is misunderstanding. Algo is not understanding what the human is trying to search for. And even this extra uh, uh, brackets also is confusing the algo, confusing the search algo. Then it's not understanding. LinkedIn or neither Monster would understand what this human is trying to search. Because the thumb rule of or, whenever we use or, that's where we are using Java, and we are using, sorry, that's where we are using those brackets, and we are using a brackets in a scenarios where we're creating a nest, when we're creating some of the sets. But in this scenario, with the one keyword, we don't see that any set is being getting created. It's just the unnecessary bracket. Similarly, here also, ELK or CI/CD and SQL or no SQL, not DevOps, not Java. Again, that didn't work. Using not in the beginning, that also completely, it was giving us a result, but it was completely misinterpreting the results. Completely a different thing. Then in title LinkedIn free version, we use this, where in the LinkedIn free version we went ahead and given tester, SDET or testing, or QA or testing, and definitely we've seen that up to 99% of 99, up to 99.99%, it has given us a correct results. So I know a couple of people might have missed last session, so you can definitely refer to the previous videos. It's being uploaded. I did share the link here in today's invite, but otherwise, let me add this particular link here in the doc as well, so that you'll have your doubts cleared. Otherwise, feel free to ask still. We can go through still of the use cases. We can still use some of the use cases. And as I mentioned always, in our session, we would not have any Q&A at last. If you have any questions, immediately unpause yourself and feel free to ask. Thumb rules. A couple of thumb rules. Yeah. Right, so let's get started. So I'll just take a pause. Anyone has a doubt from the previous sessions? On understanding a use cases of and or not, and or specifically, and then double quotes as well, brackets. How do they work? Right. So here we are today. Dive deep on how to use not in Google search and various use cases. Let's go for some of the complex examples. Do you not? We'll have to use minus sign instead of and be used Okay, basically, when we use not in Google, we have to use minus sign. We'll show the examples also instead of word not. So there are a few rules while using not. There are a few rules. Okay, below are the few rules while using not in Google. Rule number 1. Basically, when we use not in Google, we'll have to use minus sign instead of using word not. Rule number 2. Minus sign has to be used at the last part of the entire search, or say completely on the right hand side. Rule number 3. While using not, minus, we will do. There is no space between minus and keyword, which we need to exclude. How to use not? How to use not in Google? This one. Why to use not in Google? Basically to exclude. Basically to exclude a keywords which we don't need. Basically to exclude a keyword or keywords. All right, how to use not, how and why. And why. How and why to use not in Google and various use cases with combination of multiple keywords. Below are few rules while using not in Google. Rule number 1, basically when we use not in Google, we'll have to use minus sign, that is instead of word not. Rule number 2, minus sign. This minus sign has to be used at the last part of the entire search or say completely on a right hand side. Rule number 3, while using minus, we'll have to make sure while using minus, we'll have to make sure that there is no space between minus and keyword, which we need to exclude. Why to use not in Google? Basically to exclude a keyword or keywords which we don't need in our search result. Okay. So let's keep this also in our thumb rules. Operator, and operator, or was 10. Well, here it is. Whenever we are using not operator, it has to be used completely on the right hand side or say at the end of a keyword. Whenever we are not in content master or analysis sites, it has to be written in capital letters. Okay, that's about 12, and then this will be our 13th. All right. Okay, so how and why to use not in Google and various use cases with combination of multiple keywords is what we're going to cover today. And now if you see here, below are the few rules while using not in Google. Rule number 1, basically when we use not in Google, we'll have to use minus sign instead of word not. Rule number 2, minus sign has to be used at the last part of the entire search or say completely on the right hand side. Rule number 3, while using minus, we have to make sure that there is no space between minus and a keyword, which we need to exclude. Why to use not? That is in Google, minus in Google, basically to exclude a keyword or a keyword which we don't need in our search. All right, examples. Now let's say software engineer. Instead of not, what we're doing, we are using pipe now. Software engineer. Let me take a notepad instead of this. Because in Google, this format is not correct of the double quotes. It's not correct on a Google Docs. This is the correct format. If you see in a Google Docs, it's slightly turns up. So let me just take this notepad. Pipe, that is R. Software engineer or software developer. Or SDE, or MTS, or SMTS. For now, we are using spaces, but when we advance to some of the advanced examples, then there will cover the use cases of using or not space between pipes, before and after pipe. Otherwise, let's stick to the space first of all, because in Google, we might not need a space, but in LinkedIn, Naukri, Monster, such kind of a job portals, we definitely need a space before and after or. So just to have that hands-on practice going on, we'll keep on using space. But once we mature to the little advanced level, then that time we'll see the various use cases. But for now, we'll just keep spaces before and after pipe. Software engineer or software developer or SD or MTS or SMTS or member of technical staff. All right. And and itself is a basically space itself is an and for Google. So I'm not using and and. I will use another bracket, Java, or let's say any programming languages, Java or Golang or C++. The reason I'm giving in double quotes because we know from the previous example how that plus is interpreting in a search results. Again, we'll cover now also with double quotes and without double quotes about the plus. But otherwise, when we give space and when it gets into the URL, here we have seen so wherever is a space, that's becoming plus, because here we have a spaces, we have given a space in this particular search, Java, space has become plus, and that pipe has become %C, again, space has become plus sign. So how would that C++ would be in that case? That we'll cover soon. Golang, Java, Golang, C++, or Python. Okay, I'll just take this limited keywords for programming language. And then let's say database, will leave it, just the title will stick to. Okay, first let's start only with this much. Then we slightly keep on complexing it. So what we got here is basically a Google feature. It's not a part of a search result. It's a Google feature. Someone is searching for these particular keywords. Google assumes that the person might be searching for a job, and they start scanning the millions of websites, even the company websites as well, like if it's a Siemens job, Hirist, and all the various job portal, LinkedIn and all, and it scans the whole those websites and give us a result. But otherwise, just ignore this. This when to use later in the advanced stage when we'll be working on how to create market intelligence report, demand and supply report. That time we'll cover the use case of it, how this will be useful. But for now, we can just exclude it. Did I cover that here? Diversity, contact, finding script data. Okay, how to create market intelligence report. Market intelligence, demand and supply gap. Anyways, that is covered, but still demand and supply just came in my mind, so thought of adding that as well. Okay, so we just give this search. As I mentioned, this is just the Google search feature. It doesn't have to do anything with the search. Someone who's searching for this, then Google assumes that person might be looking out for a job and they start giving this. And again, additionally, people also ask. That's again a Google search feature we covered in past. What is people also ask thing. Then we have a couple of results from LinkedIn, couple of results from Naukri, couple of results from InstaHire. All those are basically a job post. Then Java engineering job description, complete Java developer master class, sessions, classes, trainings, job description.
Hey Shiv, so just wanted to check how many knots we can use. Is there a limitation?
So overall, we can use up to 32 keywords in Google.
Okay.
Okay, so it comes with the combination of and, or, not, double quotes, overall up to 32 keywords. So let's say you have only 5 keywords with and, or, in a combination of and as well, or, and you have 10 keywords in a combination of not. You can still use it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. A lot
But
of
here
jobs.
even this, sorry, here even the spaces are getting counted.
In this.
Yeah. So there is a space between
in
the
or thing,
pipes.
that's what I said. For now, we'll ignore that part. Later on will come when we reach that 32 keywords, some advanced session, that time will come there.
Okay.
Whether the spaces are getting counted or not. For the answer, yes, it is getting counted. That space itself is getting counted.
Okay.
For a quick answer, but otherwise, we'll ignore that discussion for now. Otherwise, it would create a confusion. Okay, so a lot of jobs, careers, then job descriptions, and then training. So let's say now we come to our search and say we don't want to see any jobs. So minus, as we mentioned, whenever we are using minus, we are making sure that there is no space between keyword and minus. We'll also see what will happen if we give a keyword, but let's don't give a space now. Once we cover this example, then after that we'll cover what will happen if we give a space. So minus job, minus, and now in this, it's not ideally like a LinkedIn where we just give not space, open the bracket, Java space or space DevOps, then close the bracket. That works in a LinkedIn or portal, job portals, but wherein Google search algorithm is slightly different. So whichever the word we need to exclude, we need to mention those many number of times minus and that keyword 1, keyword 2, keyword 2, something like this. And we'll also see various use cases after this example, but let's do a right example first. After that, we'll go to the wrong examples and we'll try to identify why they are wrong. So minus job, minus jobs, minus again space, minus CARWER career, minus CARWER is careers, minus training, minus coaching. Okay, minus jobs, minus job, minus jobs, minus career, minus training, minus coaching. Let's see. Now we'll go open another tab. Okay, now how to use Python with MTS representations, Microsoft attempt to simplify computing for distributed system, where CM is all about identity, MTS managers. timegolden.me.uk. Okay, we got some JD now, not necessarily the words like careers or let's see. What are the keywords we gave? Job, jobs, career, careers, training, coaching, if it is appearing in this. File not found, looks like outdated, but otherwise it's a JD, but it's nowhere it's a career or careers or whatever. Work here, senior software engineer, minimum 4 years of work. So we'll exclude work here also, but let's see what it's giving. does that covers our keyword whichever we excluded? Okay, software engineer, Java full stack. There is no careers or job word here. Let's have multi-highlighter work for us now. Right. Let's have one refresh. Let's see if it is working. Developing, we'll just mention one just to check if multi-highlighter is working. Yes, it's working. We'll also mention designing just to see if it is working. Yes, designing, getting highlighted. That means it's working. All right, now for given the keywords, jobs, careers, training, coaching, let's see. So apply, we might exclude apply keyword also, but wherever you see there is no such keyword, jobs, career, coaching, training, or anything. So let's do one thing, we'll also exclude apply. Minus apply minus work here.
You can also use JD.
Right. So you will see this came, but that link is not working. Just dial. What is it? Get phone number, address to you. Developers near computer software developer in Java. What is this? Never seen. SD Java Android code search. Salt SD feature class attributes update with Python. Java software engineer salary in Paris. The Peter software engineer Wikipedia 64-bit developers. Vegas software developer giving tuition. Will also exclude TUTION tuition. All right, let's go to a couple of last pages just to see if those keywords are appearing. Interview expertise for SD same coaching. But otherwise, we don't see those keywords. Pretty much, it's gone. LMT software solutions. Some training institutes, but not necessarily jobs, careers, kind of a related keywords. And neither a training, though those are the institutes, but the word training or coaching is not getting highlighted. And again, it's one-page application. So the more we scroll down, the more it's keep coming. Right. Yeah. Though interview questions, but nothing related to jobs, careers, kind of a related keywords. All right, so this is one use case. Now let's say we'll add little masala to it. We'll say now in the beginning, we'll add some locations, India or Bangalore or Hyderabad, so that we need results from these locations, or at least not necessarily from this location, but what I say is like results which has Hyderabad, Bangalore, or anything such. Okay, some Twitter handle now. But definitely we do not have those jobs or stuff. Community topic, Java, scalar community. Some YouTube videos. Books. Introduction to Python. Again, books from Google Books. Let's repeat. Anyways, we have given quite a long keywords. So that's reason this. So this just dial stuff is all paid stuff, but let's remove just dial also. Minus just dial. All right. Now the beauty, we started getting some resumes. Indians who code, directory of programmers, nice. Senior software engineer, Amphora. Khalil Ansari. Community from Scalar. At least now if you see that jobs part has completely excluded. You got some Twitter handle about a person that university and talks about various companies. We at Twitter, founder at Girls Code IT1, XSD intern at PayPal. Looks decent. Latest. So this is Scalar community. We'll see. We'll go when we go to the advanced levels. We'll also try to leverage this community forums. But for now, let's stick to the basics. Whether our keywords are doing the job, what we wanted them to do. Whether our search is doing the same job, what we wanted them to do. What we wanted our keywords to do now, we wanted our keywords to search for results which has India or Bangalore or Hyderabad with software engineer or software developer or SD or MTS or SMTS or member of technical staff with Java or Golang or C++ or Python, and without job or jobs or careers or training or coaching, apply, work here, and tuition. We're excluding all those keywords. So here we have a resume. Here also we have a resume. And as I mentioned, once we go to the advanced level, we'll try to leverage this kind of a results so that we get more resumes such. Let's make this happen. Developers directory, better together. Awesome. Founders, co-founders. Diversity. Indians who code. So those are the profile, a bunch of profiles. Then the LinkedIn profiles, GitHub link, Twitter link. We can always connect. Related, awesome. Let me bookmark it. And also let me share it in the group. Pressure, not things. Is it a treasure or just the page? Yes, no.
Treasure chef.
Let's have that communication going on. She was earlier at TCS. When she was looking out, I reached out to her, but she did not show an interest, but pretty decent and interesting profile.
Yes.
This one. Telegram, we anyways added. Below role. No, she wasn't interested. I didn't knew that. I will find here also such developers. Awesome. For a position, looks like some JD requirement, but doesn't talk about jobs or careers or anything such. Khalil Ansari, okay, software developer at Roposo, Gurgaon, India, interim engineer since 2013 till present. Awesome.
So Shiv, if I want to exclude two keywords after not, for
Hmm?
example, if I want to exclude minus curriculum vitae, how do I put it? Do I put it in inverted quotes after minus?
I'll come back to just give me a second. So, yeah, you were asking something?
Yeah, so I was just checking if I want to minus a CV, right? So I would ideally say minus resume, minus CV, minus curriculum vitae, right?
Anything,
that-
whatever you wanted to minus.
Correct. So if I'm using two words, that is curriculum vitae, do I put it in inverted quotes after minus?
Yes, work here. Minus, work here in the inverted quotes, double quotes.
Okay, sure.
Absolutely, you're correct. Okay, now let's do little more masala. India, Bangalore, Hyderabad. Now let's say resume or CV. Okay, now we started getting resumes of individual people from various websites or from their own personal websites or from institutional websites. CV Maker, okay. Or some document stuff from Visual CV, Vivek Soni, Facebook, Chetan Chauhan from GitHub, Codily, cakeresume.com, some sample sample creation sites, Orco Hunter. So all these websites I never heard. Trust me, I never heard the name of those sites. These are all, tomorrow we do session, we might see some new sites. Okay, but why the basics needs to be so strong? The reason because tomorrow after a couple of, see, social media is something which always keeps changing. Okay, but we shouldn't get tricky if they are changing. Rather, we should know whys of it and hows of it. And that's where how much ever it could change, the basic operator, we have to keep on exploring it. And that remains same. So what we're trying to do, we're just trying to develop the thought process of how to source rather than sourcing. Okay, fine. Learning sourcing is something different. But basically what we're trying to do here is develop that thought process, develop that worm in our mind, which always thinks about it or think about the multiple stuff. So this is again a basic. We'll go to the advanced level slowly. Then, as I mentioned, like every session will keep raising the bar. So yeah, now here we have a resumes of people. Wow, decent. Gojek, definitely SD2. So this is some website. Top Hill, that's a famous website for getting a resume, but later on we'll cover that site. But otherwise, Avish Sharma, about blog, CV, project, publication, recommendations, contact. From Bits Pilani, work experience, research. Currently doing research. Software engineer. I think he went to PhD, then started doing research, I believe. University of Cape Town. Okay, MSc in computer science. 2022. Again, here we have August 3 to present. This is in US. Bangalore. So though this is US, but in his profile, he would have mentioned somewhere India or Bangalore or Delhi, such keywords. That's the reason it's coming. So let's see where he would have mentioned. Or sometimes what happens, Google remember the past data also, and it's try to give. So let's say page has just got updated a couple of weeks ago, but Google has stored that particular data in their memory and it started pulling out those results. So sometimes those kind of false positive will be still there, but not much. So this is again from Visual CV from Bangalore, analysis design, principal software engineer at Oracle. So we got the results from variety of sites, which we never heard. But if you see the kind of results what we got are really good. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Yes, no, have a communication going on.
True, Shiv. I have never seen these sites before, though I'm in recruitment from last 10 years, but still never seen these sites. Thanks.
So yeah, that is how we use not. I'll just close all these results. I'll just take a pause and come back to our main understanding of, do we have any follow-up questions on how to use and in Google, how to use or in Google, what are the use cases of those brackets, what are the use cases of double quotes in Google, and how to use not in Google. Any follow-up questions, anything, feel free to ask. I'll just take a pause for a moment. So here is an example. As I mentioned, as we go to little advanced session, every session would be bar raising with the advanced learnings.
Hello.
Yeah.
I missed the last section regarding the and how to use in the Google search. Can I get the notes of that? Anything like that? Because today only I have joined the session.
Got it. So the notes are pretty much here in this document. And apart from that, as I mentioned here, we also upload it in a YouTube. You can definitely refer to those videos.
Which one? Where can I get the link?
So here itself at the beginning of the page. Here it is. Okay, let me just get to top.
Oh.
Okay, anyways, I think it's accurate here itself. All right. So here you have it. You can just click and then you have all the videos there. You can definitely cover within this week so that by next week comes, you have a thorough understanding of what we're talking. But otherwise, that's completely fine. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask, because we haven't reached to the major exercises where it's difficult for us to understand. We can definitely understand in this session itself. So you're asking, like, you missed how to use and in Google, right?
Yes.
Okay. So how to use and in Google? Just replace with space. No need to add and. If you add and, then Google will take it as a additional keyword and start searching for the results with and. But it not necessary take and as an operator. For more details to understanding whether it is really taking and as an operator or as a keyword, you can definitely refer to the videos. You have it. We have dived on it. We have understood the URL part, how it is performing and all everything. But otherwise, that's pretty much. All right. But otherwise, to answer your question, and
yes,
you don't have to use and in Google, just space is enough. Or you don't have to use or in Google, just standing line pipe is enough, which is shift and above the enter on a Windows desktop. Shift plus above the enter, you have one pipe. That one you have to enter. So shift it is a little different. Okay, so shift above the enter, this one. This one. All right, shift plus this. That is or. Do we need space before and after or in Google? We'll cover later. We'll cover the various use cases of it later. But for now, we are not going with any spaces. We're just keeping it as it is. All right. And then double quotes. Definitely, whenever we have such kind of a use cases where we have two words like work here that we need to exclude, or either we need to include something like member of technical staff, we have given in the double quotes. So the double quotes concept is whatever the words you are giving, that would come, means what the number of words you're keeping within the double quotes, it accepts up to 10 to 15. I did try it sometimes with the 20 keywords also. It did work, but not really sure about the limitation. But what I would say now, if there are 4 words, member of technical staff here, okay, double quotes, then we would get result as it is member of technical staff. That's how the double quotes work in Google or LinkedIn or Monster or Naukri. And then comes to not. In LinkedIn, Google, Naukri, we use not not, and there would be a space before and after not. There are a couple of use cases when not to keep a space that we'll cover on later sessions. But for now, when we use not in LinkedIn, Naukri or Monster, there's a space before and after not. But wherein in Google, instead of not, we are just using minus, and whatever the keyword we need to exclude, that we are immediately adding after minus. And if we have multiple keywords to exclude, then those many number of times we are adding minus, and those particular keywords like jobs, minus career, minus careers, minus training, minus coaching, minus apply, minus work here, minus tuition. Now let's take another use case. Anyways, I'll just take a pause. Any doubts in this? Any confusion? Any doubt? Yes, no?
No, sir.
We're good?
No doubts. Yes, we are good.
All right. So now, as I mentioned, like we'll see the use cases of if we're giving these keywords. Let's take it here. Now let's say we say minus job. How will you give or the way we used not in LinkedIn, not space, open the bracket, Java space or space, DevOps, close the bracket. It was excluding Java and DevOps. Similar kind of a thing we are trying to see in case if this accepts. Okay, again, okay, this is, as I mentioned, this is Google search feature. So CV, again, Naukri, Java developer, jobs, and it's highlighting, in fact. Then again, job, again, jobs, apply, which is again getting highlighted. So whatever the words we have given, all those words are in fact appearing. It's not getting excluded, it's in fact getting included. So it might be excluding maybe one keyword, that is job. Here, if you see minus, plus minus job, but additionally, if you see plus. But wherein in this example, every space is a plus, and then minus job, minus jobs, minus career, minus careers, minus training, minus coaching, minus apply, minus work here, minus tuition, minus just dial, so and so. But wherein in this example, it's only one minus, might be excluding only job, but jobs, careers, training, coaching, apply, work here, tuition are basically the inclusion. It's not an exclusion. Like if you see here, career, even job also, if you see here, job is also appearing. So here, if you see, even job is also appearing because it's not really understanding what this human is trying to say. That's the reason we need to have a minus before every keyword without any space between the keyword and minus, whichever the keywords we need to exclude like this. Now let's say another use case. This same thing, what we'll do, we'll use in the beginning. Yeah. And then this part, we'll keep it here. Okay, so we got it. We have given title in the keyword, but let's see if it is really working. CV, chops, JavaScript. Though we see it seems to be working, but ideally, the right understanding for Google to exclude a keyword is basically we would be using at last and completely on the right hand side. Likewise, yesterday we seen this not we were using in LinkedIn in the beginning, some example like this, and it completely messed up. So likewise, it goes with the Google also. Though it's giving a results now, but thumb rule, whenever we are using not, like this not Java, it completely messed up this search. Likewise, in Google also, whenever using such thing, we have to make sure that so though it's given a result, but it did not really excluded Java. And the number of search result, what we see is like the other day, there is a huge variation and not really. So that's in one. Let's take. As I mentioned the other day, it was completely messed up, but today we are getting some results. But as a thumb rule, whenever we are using not, we are making sure that we are using it completely on a right-hand side. Otherwise, as a rule, not Java and ELK or CI/CD, it should start excluding everything. But what it's showing us, it's actually including all this. All right, I'll just take a pause. Any doubts or any confusion on using not either on LinkedIn or either on Google? So once we advance, these examples are still, I would say, are very basics. But once we advance, then you would really understand why these basics has to be corrected. Let's say another use case. Minus. Let's say minus jobs, or what will this do? Can we do like this? Yes, no. No need to guess, but think logically.
Maybe no.
Why? Maybe yes, because logically, whenever we use or, we're using a bracket. That logic is correct. Second logic, minus and the keyword that's supposed to exclude that particular word. Only one logic I'm also not sure about this bracket. That is bracket and minus, whether it will read. And this bracket, minus tuition and bracket. But let's see. Cover letter, resume samples. Okay, careers, resume samples. No, it's not working. Resume samples. But let's see, dive furthermore. Careers. So careers, where is it? Careers we mentioned, but still we are getting it. Is it an ad? It's not an ad. It's still careers at PayPal. Careers. Job search. No, it's not working. Now, as we said, we are skeptical about that bracket. Now let's see, we'll remove the bracket and that or will keep as it is. Well, it's still read, but let's see first. How is it reading in the URL? Plus within the bracket, the bracket here also remained %7C. Pipe is definitely %7C, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus. But due to that bracket, it messed up. Let's remove this bracket. Let's see. Okay, we still got result, but let's see resume samples. Career blog. Career blog. As we said, thumb rule of or, whenever we use or, we are basically using them in a bracket. Now, if you see, there are few false positive results, though we have excluded career and careers, career minus careers, but we still started getting those results. Not many, because our keywords also pretty strong. Again, here careers. Naukri. Nutanix. Careers here again. No, we're still getting those. Now let's say we'll take this example where we do not have that ors. The first example when we used. And we'll see if we still have such career related results. Careers. So that's the basics, means the importance of basics. One operator here and there, it might mess up the entire search. So in these examples, in today's example, may not be messing up completely, slightly, but technically and logically, if you see, that's not correct. Let's minus just dial. Here just dial we missed. Sometimes if you give more keywords, LinkedIn would definitely ask you to verify if you're not a robot. This is turning, it's not tuition. This is career jet, it's not careers. Bars. Okay, so one thing we got, but let's see. Career, jobs, careers. No, it's a career jet, but it's not career. This is also career jet, but it's not career. All right. So yeah. Oh. Available. Awesome. We sourced 2 profiles today. This also seems to be decent for the senior engineering roles. Great consistency. Make my trip since 2012 till date. Yeah, I'll just take a pause. Any doubts, any confusion, anything? Yes, no, how to use and, or, not, various use cases, what will happen when, if we do this, if we do that. Are we good? Anything, just unmute yourself and ask. Yogeshwari? Havana?
Yes, we are good to go.
We're good to go. Okay, all right. Then I'll just give some time back to you today. Let's close the call here itself with and or not. And then tomorrow we go with an output of a Google search results. It's a pretty high level. Today we'll just tell you whatever we search, Google will give us a result in 3 different formats: the output, a URL format of it, title format of it, and text format of it. How to leverage these formats is something what we're going to cover in tomorrow's session. All right.
Yes. Hello, Shiv.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wondered, is it possible for you to upload this session by today or tomorrow afternoon? Because
I'm giving you 30 minutes back today. So immediately I'll do that and update in the group.
Okay, because I just joined 10-15 minutes, so I don't know what happened and what is this all. So before attending tomorrow's session, I just want to go through
I'm
this
going
session.
to do that right away after this.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Because today we didn't had any gaps or anything. See, I'll tell you where it gets delays, like sometimes due to network or some on a free version, we have a gaps in every part, 40 minutes, 40 minutes, 40 minutes. So
Yes.
to upload that one video, it takes way a lot of time. But if it is only one at a stress, it's an immediate job actually. Another 10 minutes, I can do that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah. I'll just pause the recording.